still just too much order in the universe. It's taking too long for everything in this universe to completely fall apart. It just keeps expanding and expanding. I can't wait another 15 billion years. Oh no, it's those four forces. The four fundamental forces of nature. I'll defeat you, forces. I'll defeat the force of gravity, of electromagnetism. The strong force, the weak force. I'll make this universe fall apart like a cheap suit, or my name isn't... Entropy. Or my name isn't Entropy. I know. I'll use the forces against each other. Yes, that's it. Gravity versus electromagnetism. The strong force versus the weak force. The weak force versus electromagnetism. Gravity versus the strong force. And since I'm protected by the second law of thermodynamics, there's nothing they can do to stop me.
We were surfing one day when we popped in a disc. The wall opened up and all the kids were whisked to a fabulous, freaky, fantastic factory kind of place with a guy named Al and a great big face. Algo'S Factory, science fun from A to Z. Algo'S Factory, it's the only place to be. Al and the brain units rock, cause they've got algorithm. But it takes a brain when you're on the clock, so they always bring one with them. Algo'S Factory, so come along with me to Algo'S Factory.
How much chaos can the universe take? Check it out when Algo'S Factory returns.
Algo'S Factory is back with the truth about the four forces. Check it out.
Algo'S Factory thanks the Science Museum of Minnesota for its help in creating the science demonstrations for our show. Visit your local science museum and visit the Algo'S Factory website at www.algosfactory.com for more explanation of the science you see here.
1 for 4 and 4 for all. What words for will answer the call. When the elements need glowing, strong force. And when they need undoing, weak force.
When waves need propagating,
electromagnetism. And planets gravitating. Four forces. Four fundamental universal forces.
Now, with our Factory Action News commentary, it's the quantum mechanics ebb and flow, hog ranchers and particle physicists.
And it's that darn second law of thermodynamics. That's why everything is going to Hicksville in a Hudson. Check it out. Now, as all good hog ranchers know, the second law of thermodynamics says that hogs, as well as the atomic particles which make up hogs and other things, tend to move toward disorganization. It takes energy to keep them together.
Yeah, check it out, Flo. You get up like any hog rancher at 5 a.m. just to slap a bunch of animals that use that energy that you're putting into them and basically turn that into a big stinking mess. You'll begin to question the very fundamental laws of the universe. The second law of thermodynamics being, in the opinion of this commentator, one of the worst.
That's right, Ed. This law says that things go from more to less useful. And check it out. There's only one way to keep entropy from going hog wild, and that is to put enough energy into the system to keep entropy from increasing too fast. I call upon all beings and the four fundamental forces in the universe to contribute enough energy to defeat and keep at bay the property we know as entropy. and keep everything from going to hack and sack on a hula hoop.
Yeah, well, that's today's Quantum Mechanics Show. Sorry it was such a bummer. I'm Eb.
And I'm Flo. Hog Ranches.
And Particle Fizz. And this is our opinion.
Check it out. Well, it's up to us to stop entropy. What'll we do?
Think about it. What do our leaders do in a national crisis?
You mean go on a talk show?
Yeah, and I know just the one.
It's Too Late with Alvin Factory Man. With tonight's guests, the Four Forces. Now, here's Alvin Factory Man.
Hey! Welcome to the show. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome. Listen, you know what? I just found out that an atom is mostly made up of empty space. That's right. 99.9999999% of matter is just empty space. Now, if this is true, I just want to know one thing. How come it's so darn hard to find an empty apartment in this town? All right, just kidding. Keep it down now. Control yourself. Well, we have got a really big shoe for you today. You guys are lucky that you picked tonight to come to the show because we have with us, you ready for this? The Four Forces. That's right. And we're lucky to have them because I understand they're right in the middle of getting ready for a big battle with entropy to determine the fate of the universe. So, should be interesting to see how that comes out. So, without any further ado, let's welcome them to the Factory Man Show. Here they are, gravity, electromagnetism, the strong force, and the weak force. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. Hey, you guys. We never see you. How come that is, huh?
Well, you see, Alvin, you never really see a force. You only see the effects of one.
Well, then how are we supposed to know you're there, strong force?
Well, that's why we have these colorful costumes, Alvin.
Alvin. She's kidding, Alvin.
Oh, that's what that was. Great. Thank you there, weak force. Now, we all know that this entropy is trying to run down the universe. Help me out here. What exactly does that mean? Gravity?
Well, Alvin, entropy is on the rise whenever energy goes out of something.
Basically, Alvin, if your car stops running in, the next couple of years, you can thank entropy.
Oh. Ha! All this time I've been blaming Joe's garage. Oh, no, seriously, guys. So this entropy thing, let's get back to that, okay? Let's not stray from the topic too far. What is the deal with this? Can you help us? Can you Four Forces help us out with this entropy problem?
Well, Alvin, you can count on us. But everyone out there shares the responsibility to continue to put out as much energy into preserving things the way they are as is possible.
We are, of course, super forces, Alvin. But even we have our limits.
Of course, some of us have greater limits than others.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, you see, the strong nuclear force holds atoms together. Atoms are made up of tiny particles called the protons and neutrons of a nucleus. These are made up of even tinier pieces that are all held together by the strong force.
And gravity hardly has any effect at the atomic level.
Oh, yeah? Well, if it wasn't for weak little gravity, you wouldn't be here. Gravity holds the atmosphere to the Earth and you to the Earth, as a matter of fact.
I got stuck with the weak force label, but when it comes to supernovas, exploding stars, you can really see me shine.
Yeah, see, some of us just like to operate on a bigger scale than the rest of us.
Hey, now, let's hold it, you Four Forces. Let's just calm down here. I thought you guys brought in a fantastic physics trick to show us. Why didn't somebody show us that before they shut the show down, all right?
Sure. How about this one? How do you know gravity's there if you can't see it?
Well, I guess you can't really see gravity, can you?
Nope, you can only see the effects of a force, not the actual force itself.
Well, it seems to me that gravity is pulling harder on the heavier book. But I thought everything was supposed to hit the ground at the same rate.
Well, I was pulling harder on the book than on the feather, but it takes a lot more pull to get the book going, so they fall at the same rate. You see, if you take air resistance out of the equation, then you get what I said before, constant acceleration. So they fall at the same time.
Well, if that's the case, Gravity, then why do you give up when you get just a few miles away?
What are you talking about, Al?
Like this. See, no gravity since they're in outer space, right?
Plenty of gravity out there, Alvin. In fact, gravity is the only thing keeping them in orbit. They're just falling.
Falling?
Yep. They're falling in a circle around the Earth. That's why they call it low gravity or microgravity instead of no gravity. It takes about 7 million pounds of thrust just to get those guys out there. Thanks to me. Now, you don't see electromagnetism doing anything here now, do ya? Hey, now cut that out!
That's just one way to prove that gravity doesn't have as much pull around here as I do.
Now, weak force, how did you get stuck with the label weak force? Seems if we can go by this chart here, gravity is a lot weaker than you are.
Alvin, I've struggled with the lousy press ever since I invented radiation. Not to mention the fact that I was around long before the so-called strong force.
Well, maybe some of us are just better at promoting ourselves.
The truth is, about 15 billion years ago, when the universe was first starting to cool down from the Big Bang, electromagnetism and I were partners together. We had our own little design business that's responsible for, let's say, the generation of all the matter in the universe.
Scientists call this the standard model of the forces of the universe. But it also says here that the standard model explains everything except gravity. Gravity, why is that?
Well, I'm just a little more complex than the other forces, I guess.
Who do you think you are,
Exactly as I'd planned. They're so occupied defeating each other, they'll never defeat me.
Master, there's a gentleman here to see you. Says he knows you.
Blast you, Higgs. I told you never to disturb me. Who is it?
I believe he goes by the name of Roberto.
Oh, that TV slime monger.
Ah, yes, I believe the very one, sir.
Send him in. Wait, let me tidy up. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Entropy, I'm really a big fan. I've been watching you for about 15 billion years now.
Really?
Hey, nobody likes to see things get run down and disorganized more than me. I think we ought to go into some sort of a partnership against those four forces.
I usually work alone.
But you're faced with that ever-growing competition in that crazy era of marketing and merchandise franchise.
Oh, how I long for those grand old primordial days.
Oh, don't we all?
15 billion years ago, give or take a billion, the average temperature of the universe was about 10 billion degrees. But I soon went to work on that. I cooled it down to about 3 degrees Kelvin after a few billion years. Then I started noticing these forces beginning to act upon the little particles that were once so wonderfully disorganized. As soon as it cooled down enough, I started putting elements together, kept adding and adding protons and neutrons and electrons until there were close to 100 elements. You see, my plan is to get the universe so cold that we eventually approach absolute zero. Nothing will move. No energy will be converted, and my work will be done. Then I can retire and move to this little timeshare black hole condo I have just outside Sagittarius.
Well, Entropy, I think I speak for everyone here when I say we are all 200% behind you.
Who's he talking to?
Algo'S factory is back with more entropy than you can stand.
Oh, look at this. Hey, I think I saw those two guys this morning at the bus station on the way to work.
You're gonna love this one.
Oh, look at that. Now, what have we got going here?
Well, these two machines have the same charges.
So the strings on there repel each other.
That's right. Now, they have opposite charges.
Ah, so they attract.
That's right. Repel, attract. Repel, attract. That's how things stick together. Electrostatic charges of the atoms.
Well, that's not quite the whole picture, is it?
Uh-oh. Why do I feel we have something coming here?
Well, we all know that the nucleus of most atoms have protons and neutrons stuck together, right?
Well, I think we can all agree on that.
Well, did it ever occur to you that if all we had were positively charged particles, they wouldn't be sticking together like this?
Good point. Electromagnetism.
Well, if...
The answer is, the strong force is the one to hold the parts of a nucleus together, and that is what makes the strong force the strongest force of them all. Even stronger than electromagnetism.
Today, on Roberto, 4 forces or 4 farces? Please welcome Entropy.
Thank you, Roberto.
Entropy, tell us, what exactly have you been doing for the past 15 billion years? And more importantly, what's all this about the forces trying to defeat you? Has anyone actually seen these forces? And how do you see something that you can't see?
What was the question?
I think we should start with, how do you see something you can't see?
Well, you observe the effects. Let me show you something, Roberto. Melting is one way you can increase entropy. I'm taking this frozen water colored with food coloring and putting it into liquid water in this beaker. Entropy increases because the heat moves from the warm to the cold, and also because the water molecules that were locked together in the ice can now wander freely.
What are you guys doing about this?
What do you mean, Algo?
Well, I think that you're letting Entropy and Roberto corner the see what you can't see market. And I think you were there first.
No kidding?
Well, look, here's one of the ways they knew that particles existed in the first place. Weak Force, I think you're the one most responsible for this. This is called a cloud chamber.
What's that stuff?
Just ordinary dry ice. Then we add some alcohol. Now, see, the dry ice cools the alcohol and we get a vapor. That's our cloud.
So what's the pin?
That has a tiny bit of radioactive material stuck to it.
Hey, I think I saw something.
Yeah, what is this stuff? Looks like it's shooting across the vapor.
What you're seeing is particles of the radioactive material shooting away from the nucleus. It's a way of proving that there's something there when you can't see it. This is how scientists were able to prove that atoms were made up of even smaller pieces.
So what did you mean that I was responsible for this?
The weak force is essentially responsible for the decay of the nucleus, and that means radioactivity.
That's what I've been trying to tell everybody.
Look. See? Everything tends to spread out. That's entropy. Now, you could put all that sand back in order, couldn't you? But think how much energy that would take. And think how much energy it would take to put your toothpaste back in its tube. To uncook your dinner and put it back in the refrigerator. To reorganize the universe once I've disorganized it.
I've got it! I know how to stop entropy.
How?
We set a trap. We make something so organized that entropy has to show up and, well, entropize it or whatever.
And they call me weak. So what kind of entropy trap do you have lined up?
A poker game!
What?
Who can resist a game of chance? Entropy's no different, I assure you.
You've lost it.
Not yet. I still have a few hands to deal because I am one of the 4 forces.
Yeah, so aren't you a few cards short there?
Well, watch this. I have a perfectly organized deck of cards here.
So?
Well, so they haven't even been shuffled yet. Straight out of the deck. You see, the more they're shuffled, the greater the entropy. Right now, the chances of dealing a straight flush off the top of the deck are 1 in 1. But after 2 or 3 shuffles, it's more like 1 in 65,000. So we leave them like this and wait. Entropy comes and shuffles them up. I put them back in the right order, putting the energy necessary to stop entropy, and bang, we stop him.
Algo'S factory is back with all of your favorite universal forces.
Woohoo! We got him! We got entropy! He's not going nowhere.
The science cubs are coming. They must be here to arrest entropy.
Well, here you go. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
You're free to go.
Huh?
Are you guys crazy? He's trying to run down the entire universe!
Unfortunately, he's protected by the second law of thermodynamics. No!
You know, some scientists think that someday we'll discover that the 4 forces are really just one force. They call this idea the grand unified theory. Now, does making the 4 forces into one force stop entropy? Well, probably not, but think how much I'll save on cab fare.
I guess the universe needs all of us, or else nothing would work, right?
You mean even entropy?
Guess so. Look at it this way. If entropy hadn't have slowed things down a long time ago, we never would have been able to put any elements together in the first place.
Well, let's go back to the atomic level, okay? That's where we can do the most good.